Welcome to our last session associated with identifying the problem, where we'll make the final selection of the design problem. No matter whether a short or a long process has led us to the end of this first phase of the design cycle, we will have to make a clear and documented decision at the end of identifying the problem. What is the problem we are trying to solve? What is the design challenge that we must address? As a design team, we are now ready to make the final selection and a formal statement of the problem that the team will take forward into the engineering design cycle. No matter how structured or pre-established the design problem was, a good first step into the design cycle usually means that many good ideas have come to the table. Whose idea will be chosen? Which will outlast the debate and the discussion that now comes among team members? If you are particularly passionate about one of your ideas, or an idea someone else has brought forward, you may have to draw on some key tools of persuasion to sway your team members your way. Or you may have to use those same persuasive tools to compromise on ideas so that the team can come to a mutual consensus. Although the art of persuasion is discussed here in terms of pushing your own idea forward, it can also be applied any time to influence others, to either see your way of viewing the world or to see a common way of viewing the world that is likely to be agreed upon by all team members. Only a few tools of persuasion are discussed here, but there are many, many more. Regardless of which tool or tools are put into practice, knowing how to persuade and developing the ability to do it well is a valuable tool to add to the designer's toolbox. The first tool of persuasion that's especially relevant when you are presenting an argument for an idea that you favor in the team environment is to talk about both the good and the bad associated with a design choice or decision. Intuitively, we may wish to present only the positive side of the argument and be unwilling to present any weakness or downside for fear of swaying our team in the wrong direction. In reality, however, many studies in psychology tell us that the two-sided argument works far better than one-sided arguments, and that presenting the good and the bad works regardless of how the audience or team feels already, whether they are already sympathetic to our cause or not. Another quick and useful tool of persuasion is that of repeating something to your team or audience if it is either controversial or unfamiliar to that audience. If you have an idea or a thought that you feel strongly about, it is well worth repeating. During a discussion, debate, or conversation, especially in a non-confrontational culture, it may be tempting to voice your opinion once and let it rest. As we turn to psychological research, however, we find that this is not the best course of action. Rather, repeating yourself has about 90% of the same effect as multiple people voicing that same opinion. In this case, the conventional proverb that familiarity breeds contempt does not at all apply. Familiarity through repetition provides attraction to the idea that is put on the table. Repeating yourself almost sounds like more than one person agreeing with your opinion, and is an important tool often used to persuade others to follow a certain direction or line of reasoning. Another tool of persuasion that is often useful during working in teams that is often overlooked is the simple tool of kindness. Doing something kind for others on your team is not only a nice thing to do, but encourages reciprocity. It's part of human nature, and it works disproportionately. The return on investment is much more than the initial investment. So when you do something nice, like getting a cup of coffee for someone on the team, a little gesture can go a long way in developing allies among your team members and enabling you to lead as well as to follow during the design process. One last and very commonly used tool of persuasion at design team decision time is to be confident and prepared. Confidence and certainty are intoxicating and compelling to others. Most of us are simply drawn to people who are strong and confident. Thus, no matter what your personality or physical presence, it's important to go into a team meeting, having done your homework so that you feel confident and are more likely to have your voice heard and taken seriously as decisions are made going forward. Before your next team meeting, take a few moments to strategize how to project that confidence and be clear on what you intend to bring to the table. You'll be surprised at the difference it makes. During this session, we have looked at a few tools of persuasion as they relate to making the final selection of a design problem or formalizing a statement of a design problem that has already been put on the table at some level. It can be useful to practice these tools as your team gets to know each other and begins to work together. We have looked at only 4 tools of persuasion here, but there are many, many others that can be found at the URL noted at the bottom of this slide, as well as through other resources. Regardless of which tools are used or how persuasive individuals must be, the end of this phase of the design cycle should result in a well-selected team and a formally stated design problem. The goals of the design cycle should be crystal clear at this point, so that moving forward is efficient and motivating to all team members. This concludes our introduction to specific tools of persuasion that can help in completing the process of identifying the problem during the engineering design cycle. Thank you for joining us. We certainly hope that this session has been helpful to more thoroughly exploring the complexities of working on a team, and that you'll join us again as we take a detailed look at other phases of the engineering design cycle.